Hello, everybody. Welcome to Acquisitional Wealth, episode number 7. I'm so glad you could be here. My name is Josh Tully, and just as a quick reminder, if this is the first episode you're watching with us, I would strongly recommend going back and watching episode number 1, because it all kind of is built on that same foundation. And we'll put a link to number 1 down in the description if you happen to be watching this via video. All right, like I said, welcome to the show. Now, before we get started, follow us on Facebook. We have a great Facebook page and a great Facebook group for buyers and sellers of businesses. You can follow us there. Also, if you're listening to the audio version of this on iHeartRadio or Stitcher or Spreaker or one of those sort of apps, definitely subscribe to us there too. It helps with the algorithms and all that sort of stuff. And of course, you can always reach us at AcquisitionalWealth.com. All right, so today's episode, I really kind of like this topic because it's one of the things that I think I get asked most often. And that's, Josh, do I have to have special experience or specific education in order to become a business owner, an entrepreneur, take part of acquisitional wealth? And I get why people say that. I mean, we're taught in school, go to college, get good grades, get a job. Go to school, go to college, get good grades, get a job. And then we get into life and we think to ourselves, well, this is what I do, this is what I am. And then when it comes time to vet an opportunity before us, whether that's owning a business or not, we always compare that to what we think we're good at or what we think we're trained in. And of course, there's lots of complexities to this issue, and every case is specific. But the overall answer, no. No, the overall answer is you do not need specific training or experience or education to become a business owner, certainly when it comes to buying one. Now, you might be thinking, well, wait a second, how is that even possible? I mean, before I could get a job at the gas station now as a night manager, you have to have at least a bachelor's degree. You mean I can own a business making millions of dollars and not have a degree in business? Yeah, let's kind of look at it a different way. If you look at the wealthiest business owners on planet Earth, the vast majority of them do not have education in business. If you look at the top wealthiest people in the world, many of them never even went to college. Some of them never even made it out of high school. I'm dead serious. Now, I'm not saying, if you're watching this as a teenager, quit school. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is there's way too much dependence, or at least belief, that education and experience is what drives success. And it's simply not true. It's not true. I was talking to one of the guys who owns one of the largest roofing companies in the country. I think it's actually in the top 5 roofing companies in the country. And the man who runs his business now, because he just decided to retire and live on an island, but the man who runs his business now had no experience. Not only no experience in roofing, no experience in like the home services industry at all. And that's why he says they're now in the top 5. See, what happens too often is we take whatever our education is, whatever our training is, and then we try to implement that into the business that we're about to purchase. That usually fails. So what would that look like? Let's say Sally is a plumber. And she decides that she loves these podcasts and she's going to buy a business. Odds are, what sort of business do we think Sally's going to buy? A plumbing company, right? Because that's what her experience is in. So she's sick of working for whoever she's working for. She's going to buy a plumbing company. Well, that all sounds right, good, and jolly until she actually goes to running it. And then what does Sally focus on? Plumbing. Well, Josh, isn't that a good thing? I mean, shouldn't she be focused on plumbing because it's a plumbing business? Nope. The plumbers that she has working for her need to focus on the plumbing. Sally needs to focus on owning a business. Well, Josh, doesn't that just prove then that Sally should have an education in business ownership? Nope, not at all. Not at all. Because if you think about it, right, let's back the train up. What are your options for experience in education and business ownership? One, the obvious, you're already a business owner. Which means if you're listening to this podcast, you're halfway there to realizing, wow, why am I not buying the growth and the success I want as opposed to waking up every morning and trying to climb a mountain, right? So you're already there. You realize, dude, I'm just going to buy it. The second option is you think that it's the educational route. Well, here's a newsflash. There are very, very, very few colleges and universities that actually teach real entrepreneurship. And I mean so few that I can't name one. And you might say, well, Josh, the college my son is going to, they have an entrepreneurship course as part of their MBA program. Nah, irrelevant. I haven't seen one of those worth its weight. I really haven't. What happens is, even when it comes to the acquisitional side of business, you'll have these kids graduate from Wharton or wherever, and they'll go, well, I want to start a search fund. I want to start a search fund to become an entrepreneur through acquisition. And you might be thinking, well, Josh, isn't that what we're doing here with Acquisitional Wealth? Yeah, then some. I mean, I'm actually doing an episode on this. Entrepreneurship through acquisition is kind of like baby step 1. Acquisitional wealth is like master step 10. So master step 10, baby step 1. But I could see where you could get this idea, well, isn't it the same thing? And they went to school for it, so wouldn't they have a leg up? And the answer is no. No, they don't. And it's certainly not needed. So what do you need in order to know that you're qualified to own a business? Have you ever had a job? Did you keep the job? Were you good at the job? There you go. It is harder to be an employee than it is to be an employer. And I know somebody out there may be going, well, that's not true. Well, even I don't want to get political, but even one side of the political aisle tends to agree with this because they constantly rant and rave about how business owners make so much money, yet they don't work as hard as the employees, and the employees should be getting all that money. Well, wait a second. I mean, their very argument is arguing my point, saying that owning the business is not as hard as being the employee. Now, before somebody writes in and says, well, wait a second, the SBA requires I have experience in an industry before I can purchase that business. Not really. Not really. We do a lot of deals with SBA loans. And yes, initially they're going to ask, do you have experience in this industry? If you don't, does that mean it's a deal breaker? Not at all. There are so many workarounds. First, if the business is old enough, solid enough, financially solvent enough, it very rarely matters. I just did a deal. The couple who bought the business had no real experience. They bought a business that's been around since the 1980s, early 1990s, and the SBA approved it. Approved it with flying colors. Didn't even require a 10% down payment. It was amazing because the business was solid. Another workaround for that is if you have an employee in the business that you're buying who is the manager and you elevate them to VP or some officer position, right? You elevate them to an officer in the company, and then all of a sudden your company, because remember, you're buying a business, you're not starting one. Your new company has an officer that does have the experience. So there's a lot of workarounds with that. But let's get back to the personal sort of struggle in your mind, because that's really where it is. It's not logical. Logically, no, you don't need experience to be successful. Otherwise, no new business would ever be successful because nobody taught the new thing, right? Duh. I did an event here recently for first-time buyers, and one of the people in the class was asking about that. Like, well, colleges are great because they really teach good stuff. And I'm like, no, there's not a college on planet Earth that is teaching something that wasn't developed and designed outside that college first. Not medicine, not nursing, not agriculture, not architecture, not poetry, not literature, not quantum physics, not nuclear physics. Like all of that stuff starts outside the realm of college. Then it's studied and brought into college so they can teach somebody else how to invent or do what somebody else has kind of discovered or invented or innovated or whatever. But with that being said, back to our practical application of this, if it's a new sort of business, who would have taught them to do it anyway? Right? I know. So the personal sort of hurdle, the obstacle that you're trying to get yourself over is really you don't feel like you're good enough. You don't feel like you have the skill set. You don't feel like you could be a boss or make decisions or be outgoing because you're an introvert who has only done, office management for 20 years and you have no skills to run a business. I don't even know where to start. That's just personal. It's not real. That's not a real feeling. That's just your own emotions getting in the way. Well, Josh, it has to take some skills, right? I mean, you have to do something. Yeah, but you don't need them first. You can develop them along the way, especially if you're buying a business that's already established. That's what I tell people all the time. To take a startup from nothing, scratch, to successful, that's hard. And that's extremely hard. To get it to a point of $1 million or more is extremely rare. And I'm not going to tell you what I'm about to tell you as a way to brag. It's really, really not. But to get a business from nothing, just bootstrap nothing, to over $1 million, less than 1% of all businesses started will do that. I've done that 3 times, and by the end of next month, it's going to be a 4th time from startup. Now, that's not including the ones I bought, but from nothing. And would I say that takes some skill? Yeah, I would. Honestly would. For years, I thought that it didn't. I just thought anybody could do it. I was wrong. And the thought then is, well, could you be wrong about this? And I'm not. The reason I know I'm not wrong about this is because you're buying an already existing business. It already exists. It's already running. And let's be honest, just like wherever you work, you probably know more about how to handle that business than the person who owns it anyway, don't you? I'm just being serious. So when you buy it, let's say Sally, instead of becoming a plumber, she buys a microphone manufacturing company, which she has no experience in. There's a manager, a foreman, a VP of sales, somebody who she can go to and say, hey, you know what? We're going to elevate you, and you are going to be operations director or whatever. So, yay. And now over the course of owning that business, if you so desire, you can learn the nuances of the operation of that business. Yep. Now, would I suggest that you continue to learn business skills, though? Yes. And those are not going to be learned inside your business. They're just not. There's a difference to me, and this is what I'm really passionate about, right? I am insanely passionate about the craft of business. Not a particular business, not how do we make microphones or, how to set up a great plumbing company or something like that, but the craft of business. That's the skill set you should be developing. And don't feel bad that you don't have it intrinsically. It's not really taught in college either. So everybody who has it, they were on the same path you're on. So what does that look like? First, do you need it before you buy a business? Absolutely not. Second, can you start the process before you close on your business? Yes, that's what our whole first-time buyer boot camp is all about. And then third, can you develop it after you purchase a business? Absolutely, yes. Matter of fact, it's going to be a lifelong pursuit. And what that really looks like is it's hard to put it into words. but it's the craft. Have you ever seen videos on YouTube of a sushi maker in Japan, like a master sushi maker? And it's not just about, slapping some rice together, putting a piece of fish on it and wrapping it with seaweed. Nope. His or her day starts like 4:30 a.m. when they travel to the docks to buy really fresh fish, and he hand selects them. The rice is grown from a select farmer that he knows up in the hill country. He sharpens his knives, now it's 7 a.m. and he's in the restaurant sharpening his knives already. That sort of craftsmanship. Or, making a $10,000 violin. Or, just any of those shows. I love those shows because I love what people put into their craft. Business, not a particular business, but business should be treated as a craft. And if you treat it like that, then you want to perfect your skills. You want to learn about aspects of business as a whole. And I've kind of teased this like 4 times now, so I might as well get to the point. What does that look like? What sort of skills constitutes the business craft? Well, start studying money. All forms of money. History of money. What money might look like in the future. I'm not even talking about, all money's fiat. No, I get that. I wrote a book on it. Got it. But also, what constitutes money, what constitutes what's called consideration in exchange of an agreed upon something of value for a product or service. Just study it and learn to love it because it's fascinating. It goes back 12, 13,000 years, right? Study deals. I have an expression that every one of my employees knows by heart. Sales will make you millions. Deals will make you billions. Deals is where your life changes. Now, acquiring a business is a deal. So, hey, step 1, you're already engaging in that process. But it goes further than that, how to negotiate, who to negotiate with, not only the skills of negotiation, but identifying the right party in a group or a company to really focus the negotiation on, that sort of stuff. Real sales, not things like always be closing, feel, felt, found, assumption close, turnover close, all those things. All that is just crap. It's just crap. But like real belief-based sales skills. There's a difference between, modern sales techniques and sales skills. Techniques have to be changed every so often because people start to hate them, and it actually backfires where people don't want to buy from you. And those sort of people. And then there's sales skills where the skill is done so craftfully. Hey, there's that word again, craftfully. That you bought it, and you would have bought it with or without that salesperson because you were in, right? That's what you're after. Financial strategy. Where are you putting the money that you're making? How are you processing cash flow? And don't think, see, Josh told you it took skills. Nope, you're buying a business that's already profitable. They're already doing something right. Now it's your job after you own it and for the rest of your life to continue to hone those skills. So that is huge. Leadership is huge. Marketing. Internal marketing, influence marketing, target marketing. Marketing is not just one thing. There's not one thing of marketing. And just FYI, there's no such thing as digital, social media, or online marketing. That doesn't exist. You can advertise, but it's not marketing, contrary to what the ad agency, which calls themselves a marketing agency, wants you to believe. But those sort of skills. And whether you learn them from us or not, obviously we offer training and that sort of stuff. One of the things I love about Kingsbridge is we are like this full service, which, by the way, Acquisitional Wealth is sponsored by Kingsbridge, kingsbridgebrokers.com. But we are this full service, full life cycle suite of complementary services that just build on each other, from pre-purchase to after-purchase to for the rest of your life cycle. So yeah, we can help you with that. But even if you don't learn them from us, you got to go learn them. So let's kind of back up. What skills do you need to start buying a business? The ones you have. Do you need education in business? No. Matter of fact, statistically, it hurts you. Business graduates, especially ones with MBAs, make great mid-level managers. They make terrible entrepreneurs. They make bad business owners too. And yes, there is a difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur, at least in my book. But I've seen way more creative writing majors do well in business than I have MBAs. For sure, at multitudes. So no. What else? Develop some of those overall crafts of business. But the biggest message to this episode: don't let it stop you. Don't let it stop you. You didn't know how to do what you're doing, even if you have a degree in it. And I'm serious, right? So if you are a doctor, you go to college, you go to med school. And then are you a full-blown doctor? Nope. Then you got to do the residency thing or whatever comes before that, right? Why? Because they know you didn't learn enough in med school. They know you didn't. Same thing with bricklayers. You have to be an apprentice. Same thing with architects. This idea that you can go to school and just learn how to do it, and that's what I needed. And no. You have what it takes right now. I know this seems like a really short episode, but there's really not that much more to it. And I don't want to keep you around just to talk to you. I want you to get out there and start making deals, man. I want you to get out there and start acquiring businesses. So I'm not going to keep going down this issue. No, you don't need experience. No, you don't need education. That's just your own emotions trying to block your logic and keep you from the success that you feel down deep in the soul that you need to have. Period. You can learn everything you need after you buy the business. So that's it. All right, so how do we round this up? Well, subscribe to us on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you happen to be. Follow us on Facebook. Join our page, join our group. Come to our events, man. We do Acquisitional Wealth events, both webinars as well as live events. Totally free. Acquisitional Wealth events, I'm not charging for this information. My thought is this: a rising tide lifts all ships. If you go out and you buy a business and you use the information that we're giving away freely to do it, do I lose money? No. You're making the economy that I swim in, that mid-market economy, much better for everybody, so it's going to benefit me in the long run. So come to those events. The first-time buyer courses, attend one of those. Those can have a charge simply because there's costs. I mean, the 2, 3, 4, 5 day events. There's some cost to those, but it's not ridiculous. Just duh. And then what else do we have? Kingsbridge, obviously. Go there. They can help you with this entire process, from even concept to thought to everything else. And share these episodes, man. We have now 78 episodes already planned out. Things like, how do I use my 401k to buy a business without paying taxes or early withdrawal penalties? That's going to be a fun one. How to determine what a good business for me is, because a good business for you might be a terrible business for somebody else, and vice versa. So much stuff going on there. So definitely share these videos, these audio recordings, subscribe wherever we're at. And that's it, man. Let's get out of here. Let's go make some money. I'll talk to you later.